Welcome back, and the recipe we're going to cover today is the lazy bolognese. Now, the reason we call it that is it's really fast, really simple, and made with ingredients you probably already have in your fridge or in your cupboards. It's quite simple to put together, but to start with we need to do a little bit of pre-cooking. So what we're going to do first of all is put some onions, which are already chopped. Now these are quite finely chopped, we don't want them too chunky in there. And into there we're going to add a mixture of peppers. So again, about the same size chunk. We put some green peppers, some red peppers, and some orange peppers into there. Okay, so what we do is put that straight onto the stove. We just want those onions just cooked slightly through so they become translucent. We don't want them soft and soggy. So in the recipe we want a little bit of crunch, a little bit of texture to the mixture. Keep those stirred and keep them on the boil. Then I'm going to add some frozen mixed vegetables. And again, we're using frozen mixed vegetables because they're still high in vitality and nutritional value. Very, very easy, and once more, you can keep these in the freezer for as long as you wish to pull out at any time. So they go on top as well. Now you may be thinking to yourself, hold on, I thought this was a bolognese recipe. Well, yes it is, but don't forget our key important principle of nutrition addition and calorie dilution. So what we're trying to do here is add extra vegetables into the mixture. Traditionally, a bolognese sauce is just going to be the meat, the tomato, basil, oregano, and some garlic, all mixed in together, and that's your meat bolognese sauce put on pasta. And that's kind of it. Well, we're going to change the way we play that game. By adding the extra vegetables in, we have an extra quotient of nutrition. It also means we get a lot more servings for it. So once that onion's becoming cooked, it just loses that sharpness of its flavor. We add some of the other ingredients in. And I'm going to use this organic pre-made bolognese sauce. So this has the tomato, it's got the basil, the oregano, the garlic, everything else in it. So it's kind of the base of our flavor. And the secret of a good bolognese sauce, as any Italian mother will tell you, has got to be in the sauce, right? We're also going to add in some chopped tomatoes. Once again, these are organic. And the reason we prefer organic is just because not so much because they taste better or anything else, although I personally believe they do, but mainly because they're short of, or they're not exposed to all the insecticides, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, all the things that modern intensive farming usually throw into the mix. And all of those are retained in the flesh of the foods that you're eating, and also on the surface of the foods that you're eating as well. So we mix that in thoroughly, put that back on the stove to warm through. And while we're doing that, we'll have a look at the next main ingredient, which is the beef mince. Now what we did earlier on is we put 500 grams of beef mince into a pot and brought it up and simmered it slowly for about 5 or 10 minutes until it was thoroughly cooked through. It's really important to make sure you're breaking up the lumps as you do that, so then more hot water is exposed to a greater volume of the mince. What that does is it means that the hot water can melt and float the fat up to the surface of the water. And if you see in here, you see already there's a slight film covering of fat that's come off there. Now that was really lean mince to start with, but we've still managed to float that extra fat out. That saturated fat is fat you don't need lining your blood vessel walls and arteries, and so it's an easy, quick way of cooking the mince as well. I'll just drain that off. And that's ready to go into the mixture. The other alternative you can use if you don't want to use beef mince and you want to reduce the fat even further is going for a vegetarian option. This one is a Quorn brand, which is a mycoprotein, very high in protein but also extremely low in fat. And that can substitute straight in for the beef mince easy. So if you're following a vegetarian or a vegan diet, that would be a great way of still making this recipe taste and feel and have the same texture as what you want it to do. Now that mixture's brought up to temperature, all we're going to do is just add the mince in, which we stir in, fold it in nice and gently, so it's right through the whole lot. So now we're ready to serve the lazy bolognese. Fantastic dish for all the family. Now, we can dress this recipe up, even though the Bolognese sauce is now quite different. And remember, to start with, a typical Bolognese sauce would pretty much be all just meat sauce, which is just meat and tomato and a few herbs. Now what we've done is more than trebled. And what we've done now is, by adding those extra vegetables, we've literally trebled the volume of the mixture. So more servings for the same, but even actually better nutrition. Now that kind of looks a little bit boring. We want it to look more traditional so that everybody's going to get visual satisfaction from the dish. And what I'm going to use is a few, we could use corn chips. I'm going to use this Weight Watchers product, which is a lower calorie kind of chip. We just simply put a few of these around the edge. Now traditionally, once again, most of the mixture would be starchy carbohydrate, 70–80%. I'm cutting that right down to about 10% of the mixture on the outside there, because all we need is something visual, something that's going to give it a little bit of crunch and have the same sort of appearance. On top of that, instead of sour cream, we're just going to use natural thick Greek yogurt on top, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and don't forget, Parmesan cheese, high flavor, low calorie value. So you get that lovely cheesy Parmesan taste out of that. A little bit of black pepper on top. And voila, and the dish is complete. So there you have something that looks appetizing, it tastes fantastic, it smells fantastic, it's got all that extra nutrition in, and it's going to feed the whole family. And you know what? We made that in less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes.